Public figures getting caught cheating and exposed online. That is the topic of discussion today because it's been a very heavily talked about topic in our world as of late. So that just led to me researching two other cases that were very similar and somewhat recent. And while I was looking into these three cases, I learned two very important things. Number one, the aftermath is oftentimes messier than the actual instance itself. And then number two, there are oftentimes a few red flags dropped along the way that tried to tell us things that we just completely missed.
Oh, goody.
Side note, if you guys are wondering why my background looks so bare and boring and dull right now, it's because I'm moving across the world to Barcelona, Spain in 4 days, and I've been packing, and this is not a joke. This is real. And yes, I am very nervous. Thank you for asking. Moving on, let's talk about the story that we're most recently familiar with. July 16th, Coldplay performed a sold-out show in Boston in Gillette Stadium, and during one of their Kiss Cam segments, they accidentally caught the CEO of billion-dollar company Astronomer, Andy Byron, having an affair with his chief people officer, Kristin Cabot. And they handled it about as poorly as you could handle it.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
I think you know which one. Christopher Anthony John Martin.
This, of course, became a, cultural phenomenon. The memes came in abundance. Stephen Colbert did a skit about it with Weird Al Yankovic and Lin-Manuel Miranda. The Philadelphia Phillies even did a little skit about it during their Kiss Cam segment. It was just, it was all over the place. Andy and Kristin didn't say really anything about it afterwards. They didn't release a professional statement or anything. They just retired from their positions at the company, and that was it. Andy's wife, Megan, didn't really have anything to say about it either. The only thing that she really did, which was very loud, actually, she changed her Facebook page back to her maiden name, essentially telling the world, hey, we're divorcing. Then it was reported that she fled their house in Massachusetts and went to their mansion in Maine, and it was reported that their neighbors in Massachusetts called him disgusting, and I think he's currently living there still, so I don't think he's having a lot of fun taking out the trash these days. So this viral, storm of poo led the internet to do some digging and see if they could find some red flags that were dropped along the way that people didn't realize before. And they stumbled upon a press release statement from Astronomer when Andy said a lot of gushing words about Kristin when she was first hired with the company, and they noted that she had some statements as well. Kristin's exceptional leadership and deep expertise in talent management, employee engagement, and scaling people strategies will be critical as we continue our rapid trajectory. I'm sure. Then in the same release, Kristin was quoted saying that she was energized in my conversations with Andy and the Astronomer leadership team about the opportunities that exist here.
Well, that's an unfortunate withdrawal from the word bank.
And people haven't talked about this, I think, nearly as much, but Kristin is also married to a CEO. She is married to Andrew Cabot. He runs the ship over there at Privateer Rum. Records showed that they had just recently purchased a house together within the past 5 months. So, ouch. There's no news out there about whether or not they're divorcing, but I'm sure we'll hear something at some point. I wanted to quickly mention this before we move on to the next two stories. With a story like this that catches such virality, there's inevitably going to be a lot of fake stuff flying around out there. Like there was this fake statement from Andy, there was a fake statement from his wife, Megan, and neither one of them have actually publicly said anything with words about this yet. So with all of these, fake rumors and stuff flying around, I didn't want to feed you all bad information.
So I use today's sponsor, Ground News, to help me avoid red flag sources.
If you're not familiar, Ground News gathers news articles from all around the world and provides context on that source's political leaning, reliability, and ownership, so you can make a more informed opinion about any news story, whether it's political or not. For my case, I looked for sources that stay factual historically and don't get too emotionally charged, because emotionally charged news sources are much more likely to leave information out to better support their point. I came up here and I searched CEO Andy Byron, and from here it shows me a complete list of all the news sources covering this story. When I was looking to fact check the statement from Andy's wife Megan, I avoided this source because they've got a history of mixed factuality. I then moved to this article from Snopes, and I saw that they have a history of very high factuality. So this is one of the sources that I used to confirm that this statement was false. Or how about this? How about a more opinionated headline? Let's look at this one. Can you ever expect privacy in public? Coldplay Kiss camera saga tells us a lot about the answer. I think the affair is way worse than a concert kiss cam, so I can already tell that this take is going to be colder than dry ice. And also they have a reputation of mixed factuality, so I avoided this one too. One of my favorite features though is the blind spot feed. It shows you stories that are being underreported by either side of the political spectrum, so you can see what's getting left out of your bubble. For me, ground news has been extremely useful for cutting out biases, sensationalism, and just debunking fake information. So if you want to cut out the junk too, visit ground.news/pointer or use the QR code on screen and get 40% off your Vantage plan and unlimited access. That's ground.news/pointer. Now this one is considerably worse. This one had a lot of details about it that I think not a lot of the general public knows about, because there was a lot of reports that just really didn't get a lot of the details because so much of it came from Reddit. There was a lot of stuff that came out afterwards that a lot of people don't know about either. So this one's interesting. The Try Guys. They are a popular YouTube channel that was originally started by 4 BuzzFeed employees, and their whole idea is this: they just try things. They try, babysitting, baking a pie without a recipe, going to the chiropractor, anything. Ned Fulmer is the topic of discussion of this one. He was really known as like the wife guy. He made it very well known on his social media handles and everything that he was all about his family and loved to post them all over the place. And that's fine. That's totally fine if it's honest.
Can we make it bigger somehow? Do we have the technology for that?
Well, it turns out on September 1st, a fan named Julia spotted Ned and the team's associate producer, Alex Herring, making out at a bar in New York City, a public bar.
Got a feeling in my tummy that I really hate. Better find a toilet. Wait, now it's too late.
Alex was also in a very committed relationship at the time. She had just recently gotten engaged to her fiance, Will, and they had been together for 10 years. So naturally, Julia was stunned and decided to reach out to Will via DMs on Instagram. Hi, I was just wondering if your fiance was in New York City, because if so, I think there's something you should know, unfortunately. Yeah, she was. Why? So basically, I went out to Niagara, the club, last night and saw her making out with Ned from the Try Guys. I have videos if needed. She was wearing a red dress. I don't know if that helps. Please send them to me. Thanks. On it, 1 sec. And she sends some photos and some videos. And then he says, yeah, it's been going on for a while. Thanks. When was this? Last night? No worries, my apologies. I'm so sorry. Yes, last night. What time? Around 1 to 3 a.m. Where was this? Niagara by NYU. Okay, thank you. And then Julia DM'd Ned's wife, Ariel. Hi, I don't know if you know if Ned is in New York City, but last night he was at a bar called Niagara with another woman making out. I have a video if needed. I'm so sorry. Thank you for telling me. Julia was not the one who posted this online, though. Another Reddit user who was claiming to be Will was replying to a lot of the fans on the Try Guys subreddit and causing a lot of stir. I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but here we go. This is a full month before the story broke, by the way. Someone posted, my girlfriend hates Ned. My girlfriend absolutely loathes Ned. She finds him pretentious, a tryhard, and just not funny. Any hope on changing her mind? Maybe it's the fact that Ned openly cheats on his wife and has no remorse, but still plays the family man persona on the channel. Kinda wild. Some fans actually doubted the claim, so Will allegedly DM'd one of them. You're one of the people that want proof. Source, I made it up. Yes, please. And then he sends a bunch of proof. And then he even sends a screenshot of Ned Fulmer's actual phone number. And it was not marked out. Not gonna lie, that could be literally any white guy. Listen, I don't like Ned all that much. I find him a bit grating, but that's a blurry ass pic, There's more I'm not willing to share, but go ahead and call that number and tell me I'm bluffing. I'll be telling everyone. This is Will Thayer, Alex's fiance. There you go. A couple of things added some legitimacy to this rumor right off the bat. Right after this Reddit post was posted, Will allegedly unfollowed Alex and Ned on Instagram. And then he deleted all the photos of him and Alex. So then people were like, oh my God, I think that might have been him. And multiple other fans confirmed that they saw Ned and Alex making out at the bar that night. So that really blew up the rumors at that point. But still, people weren't entirely sold because the photos were blurry. It was just really hard to really see who they were. So they just went full detective mode. They put on that fedora and, they whipped out that notepad and magnifying glass and they went to work. They noticed that Ned's open shirt and Alex's white bag were eerily similar. Then it got worse. A few days later, the Try Guys posted a new video, and Ned was not in it. He wasn't included in the intro as he normally was, and he wasn't included on their weekly podcast. Then sure enough, a couple of weeks later, the Try Guys posted a statement saying that they conducted a formal review and they did not see a path forward together with Ned, so they let him go. And they also posted a video a few days later talking about it in detail, and fans made note that Eugene looked especially unhappy and furious with all of this, and that turned into a sketch on SNL, by the way. And then Ned, he posted his statement. Family should always have been my priority, but I lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship.
Oh, thank God, a voluntary entanglement. You're a good guy, Nedward.
I am sorry for any pain that my actions may have caused to the guys and to the fans, but most of all to Ariel. The only thing that matters right now is my marriage and my children, and that's where I'm going to focus my attention. The phrase consensual workplace relationship naturally trended on Twitter immediately, and it was in memes all over the place, and it just took over the internet. Also, mysteriously enough, this statement mysteriously was removed from Ned's socials about a year later. In addition to Will saying that this had been going on for a while, there were also many red flag signs that this wasn't just a one-time thing, and there were also indications that the other three Try Guys knew who Ned was for quite a while. So folks started looking into old videos again and trying to see if there were signs that were left along the way, and they found a few. They noticed that in one of them, their legs were way too close together. There was this one where his noggin was practically in her lap, and then one fan even spotted them having lunch together just a few months prior. But maybe the most glaring sign was from this video 2 years prior.
He's a salad that like cheats on his wife, you know?
He's a lie guy. He's a lie guy.
This happened 3 years ago, and Ned has stayed offline pretty much ever since. But I did see that his LinkedIn says that he now owns Fulmer Media, where he works with several studios, and he invests in startups, and he consults for major brands. And then he also has like a chemistry degree from Yale, so maybe he'll do something with that at some point. I don't know. And as for Ned and his wife Ariel and whether they're still together or not, there's really not much out there to really know for sure. But a fan did post this TikTok on New Year's showing that he met Ned out in the wild. And in one of the comments of the video, the guy said that Ned told him that they were separated. But I also saw that Ariel started her own Instagram page recently, back in February, called Ariel Fulmer Ceramics. So she still has his last name, and I know that doesn't mean anything, but it's just context that makes that TikTok a little bit murky. And overall, there's not much there for me to confidently say one way or the other. Plus, I know Ariel has largely kept this part of her life very private, so I'm not going to dig too much into the other sources that are out there.
Huh, what happened to Alex, Ned? Got enough chemistry? Did you guys table it? You periodic tabled it for later? Or maybe you just put her on the Bunsen burner. Anyway, Adam Levine is the last one.
Adam Levine. We all know him. He sings in Maroon 5. He's a judge on The Voice. He has a bunch of tattoos that look like they came from a sticker book. Well, back around the time that Ned was having his time in the spotlight, that same month, Adam Levine had his own scandal where he was actually outed several times. At the time, Adam had been married for 8 years to Victoria's Secret model Beatty Prinsloo, and they had a couple of kids with a third on the way. So at that point, he was very much seen publicly as a family man. But a woman named Sumner posted a TikTok that went very, very viral, where she shared that she had a year-long affair with him, and she shared multiple screenshots that he DM'd her that were interesting. And this one he says, "Okay, serious question. I'm having another baby, and if it's a boy, I really want to name it Sumner. You okay with that? Dead serious." And in this one, it's clearly indicating they met up. And he says, "It's truly unreal how hot you are. It blows my mind. I mean, I think the same. Seeing you in person was like, I'm fucked, I think. You are 50 times hotter in person, and so am I. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Yeah, no, I didn't think the attraction could be intensified anymore. The plane is so fucking sick. Holy shit. Sorry to change the subject."
Damn it, Adam. You weren't even trying to call home on that payphone, were you?
Since the video just went crazy viral, a bunch of news sources picked it up. Everyone was talking about it. So Adam responded on his Instagram stories with a statement that said this. A lot is being said about me right now, and I want to clear the air. I use poor judgment in speaking with anyone other than my wife in any kind of flirtatious manner. I did not have an affair. Nevertheless, I crossed the line during a regrettable period in my life. In certain instances, it became inappropriate, he added. I have addressed that and have taken proactive steps to remedy this with my family. And then it got worse. It's just so much worse. Several other people came out and they claimed that they had been receiving a lot of flirtatious DMs from Adam. And I know this, it's not a funny situation at all. It's very heartbreaking. But his attempts at flirting are just, they're incredible. This first one is from a woman named Allison. He says, I shouldn't be talking to you. You know that, right? Just try to go German for half a second? Yeah, but if we are just friends, I think appropriate. Literally shutting him down. Like, hey, dude. And then she says, damn, LMAO, I must be doing something right. And he says, absolutely, got me hooked. Funny, I'm so weird too and only listen to metal. Lol. Said no hot chicks ever, other than you. LMAO, I'm like a total weirdo. Love that. Witchy. First of all, not weird to only listen to metal. That's the only thing my girlfriend and I listen to, especially me. I only listen to things that, there you go. That's the only thing I listen to. So don't talk about my culture. Thank you. This next one is from a woman named Marika. I hope I'm getting that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Don't ever apologize for being human. Haha, but I didn't. I will definitely take some time off IG though. Haha. Distract yourself by fucking with me. Haha. There's no way he didn't do the lip bite and squint. Haha. This one is the one that's just insane. This one is from Dana Omari. He says, holy fuck, holy fa. That body of yours is absurd. Next date, I'll be like, oh, do you want to make out with the devil? And then he says, haha, how are you such an hourglass? Just, it's a 40-year-old man. Seriously, fuck. And then she sent a photo, and he says, I may need to see the booty.
Oh my God, what are you, a pirate? Shut up.
He says, watching your ass jiggle on that table will permanently scar me, but otherwise I'm amazing. I'd do anything for it. I'd buy it a steak dinner and whisper sweet nothings into it. I want to tattoo my ass right now. Nate may come to Maui and tattoo me and surf. I don't know who Nate is. It could be a typo. I need to put some clouds behind the Reaper.
Oh, what do they call fuckboys in the pirate world, Adam? Fucking ears?
Naturally, all these messages were just memed into oblivion, and I still see them floating around from time to time. It's just incredible staying power, and I think they're going to stay for a long, long time. And another thing that's going to stay for a long, long time are the bad comments on his socials and his wife's socials. For a while, things did die down for a bit. Back in March 2023, Adam and his wife made a public appearance at the Oscars and all but confirmed that they are still together. They just celebrated their 11th anniversary last month, but they probably don't need to be looking at their comments ever. Now, I want to revisit the Coldplay CEO real quick, because there was another report that came up, and I really think it relates to all three of these cases. Andy Byron is reportedly considering suing Coldplay for emotional distress and an invasion of privacy. Now, this is an unconfirmed exclusive report from a gossip columnist named Robert Shooter, so I don't know if this is accurate fully or if it'll even ever happen, but that's not exactly important. I bring it up because I saw a lot of comments on the Andy story where people were saying that his rights to privacy were broken and people should stay out of his business even though it is wrong. So it does raise the question, were Andy's rights violated? Was his privacy violated? Was Ned's privacy violated? Was Adam's privacy violated? Is there any legal ground to stand on here? Is it morally wrong to do this? Well, for starters, let me play this clip from Coldplay's first show back after their now infamous Boston show.
We'd like to say hello to some of you in the crowd. How we're going to do that is we're going to use our cameras and put some of you on the big screen. So please, if you haven't done your makeup, do your makeup now.
They're clearly being a bit cheeky here, but as you can see from the text, they give a prior heads up that, hey, we're going to put you on camera here in a second. And then there's these comments. They gave the same heads up at the Coldplay concert they were caught at. And I was at the Scandal show, and he absolutely warned us first too. Makes me seriously question why TF they were doing that at the point in the show. And I saw several comments confirming that, hey, they gave plenty of warning to give them time to get out of the way. And I also saw that they had other people on the kiss cam prior to Andy and Kristin being on camera. So they had forever to just be like, hey, maybe let's duck or separate for a second, you know? They had way too long. And even if Coldplay didn't give a prior warning, let's consider this along with Ned and Adam's case, in addition to Andy's. Legally, not one of these three dudes has a legal leg to stand on because they were out in public. At least two of them were, and Adam was on a public platform. So there is no clear expectation of privacy. It has to be clear and defined for it to have some kind of legal leg. And if you're doing something in public that's crazy, by the way, you better expect a public response. If Danny DeVito was in Walmart and I was walking around through Walmart and I saw Danny DeVito walk up to a person and be like, hey, why don't you shop for this? And he pulls down his pants. I'm probably going to pull out my phone and document it for safety, but also to be like, hey, Danny DeVito is pulling out his goods and showing us his goods. Please, somebody stop this. Or here, I'll do one more. If I go to the park and Rosie O'Donnell is there at the park and she throws a bag of her own shit at the pigeons, she can't be like, hey, this is a private moment between me and the birds. I'm like, you just threw a bag of poo at the pigeons. How am I not gonna record this? And everybody knows who you are. Anyway, the point is, just take your L's and move on. And also, don't be a public figure and do idiotic, horrible, horrific shit in public. You know, I've got more stuff for you to watch, but you just have to click the little box in the top left-hand corner and we'll get started. These are some wild, wild Reddit stories. I'll see you over there. That's my time. Toodles.